Looking at that Tulane game against East Carolina, was there anything that you kind of took away from that? I know it was a tough loss for East Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I think we look at it more schematically. You know, I don't know the emotional part of it for each team. I know emotionally every team wants to win on Saturday, but it seemed like a game that was coming down to the wire. Comes down to a few plays here and there, and 100-yard interception return, and pick going into the end zone, and pick going in on one drive, and a big play at the end. Both teams played hard. There was a lot of good stuff on tape that you can see where the same things that won a football game, for both teams, I'm sure. Tulane's deserving, they've done a great job, and then East Carolina, I'm sure, wanted to win that game in a bad way. Just the ball rolled the other way.
What does East Carolina run on defense? What do they run schematically?
Schematic?
Mm-hmm.
They're a mix. 4 down, 3 down. 3-2, 4-2-5 team, 4-4. Cover 4. 3 buzz, cover 3. 3 access corners, place a man. Anything else?
Well, I mean, when they run so many different
They run a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
They
what
do a
kind
lot
of challenge is that?
They've got, well, it's challenging because they've got a little experience in their group. They can handle that stuff. We've got a lot of different pictures we've got to go through. It presents us with a lot of different fronts, a lot of different looks, a lot of different pressures. You got to make sure your protection matches. You got to make sure that they're, all the things that go into game planning. And when you've got a young group, you've got to make sure we've got a condensed version and the best package we can to make sure we're trying to stay on schedule.
You probably know Alan Bridgeford better than anybody in this area, or at least here. Do you guys, have you had a chance to, do you guys sit down and talk away from practice and
Sure.
just talk about how things are going?
Yeah, we spend time sitting down talking about things, both on and off the field. I think that's part of our job we do with a lot of our guys. Like how you're doing. It's easy to get in this world we live in because of this is to get carried away with just X's and O's and results. And when you've got an experienced young group, and let alone just the age they are, you've got to make sure you take time to do that and sit down and talk with them how they're doing. Anything off the field, anything that carries over, or, does on the field carry over off the field. How you're carrying yourself, how you go in the locker room, how you are in class. And, but we've sat down and talked a little bit. Obviously, I think he's no different than a lot of our guys, a lot of us coaches. Frustrated, and we want to do so well. We want to do everything exactly right. You want to push. You want to do more than maybe you're capable of in certain situations, or more than what's needed, whatever the case may be. And that's at all ends. That's me included. You push, you want this, you want that. The players want to win. They try harder. Sometimes you got to try softer, and just play within certain elements, coach within certain elements. And we're all learning.
He seems to be, given the way things are going, he seems to be handling things pretty well. Like I said, given the circumstances, is that, do you guys feel that way? That his composure and his,
Yeah, I think we say that the quarterback has to be the toughest guy on the team, mentally and physically, through 4 quarters, Monday through Sunday. And I think dealing with the highs and lows of this game are really, really important psychologically. That's at all levels. That's not anything anybody doesn't know at this position, but you watch anybody. You watch some of the high school kids we're recruiting to the pros, and you watch Drew Brees and Tom Brady go at it, and watch how they respond afterwards and how they respond in game and stuff like that. Asking those guys, they're no Bridge and Nick and Cole and Parker, all those guys at that position specifically, because you're referring to quarterbacks. The moxie and how they deal with things, staying as even keel as they can is vital. And it's tough. It's tough, especially again, like going back to, because you want to do so well. You want to be those guys. We feel that group we've got in there and the guys you recruit they want to do the best. They want to be exactly right all the time, and they've got to be able to be the toughest guys mentally and physically. And he's doing what we're all doing, fighting through it, trying to find the silver lining in everything, trying to make sure we know and be really, really scrupulous on watching ourselves and seeing how we get better, picking out the finer details. But the same note, making sure we're finding some finer points, some good points, some highlights, which there are, It's just, again, it's choppy this time.
I think 4 freshman receivers have played for y'all. What do you think about that group and how they're progressing?
I love them. I love them because they give me gray hair, and I love them because I think they're going to be really special. And I like their personality, I like their character, I like how they're going to work. I think they're best football ahead of all of them. And it's as hard as it is to see some of the things they're doing, and you go, come on, and they know, that's only going to pay dividends. And we love them. I love what they're doing. I love their athleticism. I love their promise. I love the reason they're out there. We think they can do it. They're the best players, and we'll continue to do that with every class. But with what they're doing overall, they're coming out to work every day, and that's the most important part for me. If they come out to work every day, Saturday will pay off. When? That's yet to be determined, but it will pay off.
I asked Coach Munkin earlier about when the turnovers happen. It seems like when you guys are getting momentum, bam, there's a turnover right there to happen. Do you think on the sidelines it's just bad luck, or just things just not going your way?
I think I don't truly believe in how much luck there is. I don't know if it's bad luck. I think does it suck? Yeah, it sucks. Is it a number of things? Yeah, we all see that. That's nothing we don't see. If we don't see it, then we're all just staring at black and white, just numbers then. Because if you get a turnover from a forced ball, you get a turnover from a tipped screen, if you get a turnover from a blindside, missed block, sack, and fumble, those are all just things where you're like, okay, what is it from? What's the result? It's all those things. It's trying too hard. It's forcing a ball. It's not being, not having a play here. It's taking off a play here. It's just little things, and they're all over. When it comes to our turnovers, they're out there. I mean, it's crazy, from tip balls to fumbles to guys hitting us that aren't hitting, just all that stuff. And that nagging thing is obviously the thing we keep highlighting. And these guys have that. They now understand it. It's hard. It's hard to win a football game. Hard to win. You take back 1 or 2 of those in a few of those games, and it's a totally different result. Just one. Take away one, give one possession back and one score, you lose by 1. But that's that you just never know. The one thing that we've been able to build off, the one thing that I believe in is feedback and giving those guys and showing it and highlighting to those guys. Hey, look, let's not stand still and stare at this one deal. There's a result to this. There's a process. There's a building. There's an equation to this. If this happened, and a lot of things we talk about stay consistent within the course of winning a football game, and that's. You never know when it's your turn. You never know which play will lead to that. It might have been a first quarter play. Well, what if that first quarter play wasn't there? Could it have been the end result been different? And making sure guys aren't highlighting and looking at one little thing, because you can go back, and we all could, coaches included, one call here, one play call here, one hesitation not to call a play call there. You want that play, but you don't call it. All those things. I mean, all those things in the course of tight games, when you're trying to win a football game, all will come back. They all will. And we're doing, in my opinion, our staff's doing as good a job as we can of making sure, and I'm keeping them all together, of getting feedback. That's breakfast of champions. Giving these guys, and making them understand what it is, and not being stuck on one deal, because it's all of us. It's all of us, coaches included. Starts with us and then trickles down. And we're all, no matter how old you are, freshmen or not.
The nature of football, when things are going wrong, it's kind of reactionary to want to be able to point to something concrete, to be able to point to maybe X's and O's or something that's going on physically, to be able to point to that and say, okay, this is what we need to fix in order to get there. But is it possible that the mental side of things has as much, or at least something to do with the way things are going? I mean, when his confidence level is down, it's going to affect his play, right?
Right, and that's the thing that when his confidence level's down, it affects his play, absolutely. The other part of your dialogue there was the mental component and then the physical component, both of which hold It's equal water. They're both equal weight. They're both, the mental physical component are, and the mental component's the hardest one for anyone outside the room to know. It's the easiest things for people outside to point at is the physical things because you see them. So then you get out, then if we don't obviously get together and give the feedback and talk through it as a group, what happens is the physical things get highlighted and they get pointed at more often. And you need to, as a coach, in my opinion, we need to do a good job of making sure we reel guys back in and say, hey, there's a mental component to this alignment assignment before the ball snap that has nothing to do with physical stuff. And as a staff, we need to make sure we're really, and we're being very critical in that we analyze where the physical areas are and where the mental areas are, and making sure that's how you approach it. That's the only way I know, is to make sure you point those things out, because if you're trying to correct just one, you think it led to one thing and it was just physical, you're going to be solving problems that you're going to be leaving problems behind, and that's not the way we do it. We're pretty scrupulous again with how we attack the feedback, how we give them feedback, and let them know here's the physical components where we're getting beat. If you're getting beat on blocking, okay, it's the moving your feet, is it the angle you take, is it all those things, is it the mental component and we don't get the right point, we don't get the right assignment. We got to know what those are, because that's the only way then you can come back on Sundays and Monday and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, Thursdays and say, okay, we need to understand where we're at with this. You know, what is it about this? And dialogue that. You know, I think walking and talking and getting that thing done with a young group and an experienced group is what you got to do. And you got to stay the course. And I'm not flinching.
Anything else? Coach, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Good the rest of your day.